Alright guys, today I wanted to discuss this map. It's Olmec Sanctum. It's the newest addition to the unique map pool. Um, and I wanted to go over how you would combat this type of map with a physical wander, primarily a Batman wander, and how to use the Batman wander's strength and weaknesses and how to accommodate those kinds of changes. Now this is a very dangerous map. It is a map primarily with lots and lots of magic damage. So we're going to go over real quick and we're going to talk about how I can use my current defenses and enhance my performance and overall success in this map. I did test a map earlier doing it with my mirrored wand over here. But what ended up happening was I ended up three-shotting the boss. My gear was so insanely good, and my auras are enhanced, and all that shit was just making the shit way too OP. So what I'm going to do for learning purposes is I'm going to use my Nemesis wand, which I bought for an Exalt and a half. And I'm going to use, instead of Wrath, which was scaling my damage out of control, I'm going to use Discipline. So we'll go ahead and switch that out now. Now when we go to the map, you'll notice that the map has trash inside. So what I would recommend you do is use your regular shield and clear all the trash, and then go get your Saphel's frame or bring it with you if you're in a group. The Saphel's frame is going to keep. This is such an amazing shield for this kind of encounter. Although I will be losing a shitload of ES and armor, I don't need the armor in this map. Although I do need it against the trash, and the extra resistance I have already compensated for. The plus 5 to all resist is the icing on the cake when it comes to converting spell block. Okay, so when we go to the coast and we want to take a look at our defenses, we see that we have 75 all res without Tempest Shield, with the shield I have 54% block chance. I put up Tempest Shield, I gain an extra 4% block chance and 1% spell block. However, when I equip the Saphel's frame, I lose all my attack base block, but I gain spell block. So as you can see, I'm capped right here. So what this means is there is no advantage to running Tempest Shield other than to reflect damage. You notice I turn it on and you see no change in my spell block. That means because I'm spell block capped. So this will just eat up your mana. It's not worth it. Go ahead and just leave it off whenever you do use it against the boss. So with that being said, let's go ahead and enter the map. I'm going to clear all the trash really fast with my Nemesis wand without Wrath and with my regular shield, because I mean you will find like reflect mobs, melee mobs, you know, it could be nasty. It's random inside. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't know why I TP there, but whatever. Let's pop it in. So when we zone in, immediately we're going to see different hallways. I'll put up my auras. I will use Tempest Shield for the trash because that will be helpful. I don't know why my buttons got rearranged. Okay, so I'm going to run Hatred and Discipline. Just nerfing my damage quite significantly with my Nemesis wand. And as far as clear speed, there's nothing really different about this. It's all like you know, what you would regularly see in like a maze map. This is level 74. The trash is relatively easy. If you have no problems with trash in 74 maps, you'll have no problems with this. However, the whole switching of the shield is pretty huge. You notice a lot of attack-based mobs in here. Okay, so one thing that's important to note as a power siphon person, when you AoE, I'll go ahead and go over this concept. When you AoE and you kill multiple mobs, you do not gain multiple power charges. So if I were to take down this pack, let's go ahead and try to get. Okay, I killed multiple mobs right there, and you see that I only gained one power charge. So when I have a limited group like this, what I'll do is I'll single target them down so I can gain power charges individually, so I can stack them up very high. And now what I'll do is when I get capped, I'll use this concept called a battery. So I'll leave a mob up so that I don't have to keep peacock, and when I get low on frenzy or power charges, I'll kill it off so that I can roll over, kind of like rollover minutes. You're just keeping them alive. They're not too much of a threat, but I'm able to continue having massive amounts of power charges and frenzy charges, so that my overall DPS during the fight is going to be enhanced against the boss, because we're going to assume that I can't three-shot a boss like with the mirrored wand. So there are going to be mobs in the boss fights itself, but you're limited, and some of the boss fights do not spawn extra mobs, so you kind of want to use that to your advantage. While it's not necessary, it definitely speeds things up. Alright, so I've cleared all the trash in this wing. I'm going to go to the next, and then I will go ahead and make the shield swap to Sapphire's frame, and I will be equipped to take down the bosses. But like I said, I'm running Discipline because, number one, Discipline is good because it increases your overall ES, and it's good against magic. Grace is not going to do shit for you in this boss, and any of these bosses, except for like the small packs that are inside. None of the totems melee. They all cast. However, the Chaos Totem does do Poison Arrow, and Poison Arrow is an attack. So that would be the one case where Grace would help you. It would help you evade that initial poison arrow. However, the degen, you will still take the degen if you're standing in the cloud. Okay. Let me hurry up and finish killing this trash. So one of the disadvantages of clearing all the trash beforehand is that you're going to run into the case, well, if you came in with a group, people are going to struggle to refill the flasks, especially if they're HP based, because these bosses are rough to their level and their difficulty. So HP based users will probably be using a lot of flasks. Alright, we're almost done. Luckily, there's not much trash in this place. It's couple packs in each hallway, easy peasy. Upon killing all 4 totems, you will run into a final boss in the middle of the room, which will spawn all the different totems, and while they have nerfed HP, it can get very chaotic. However, if you keep up early with the swarm of totems and mobs, it's quite easy. But I'm going to let myself get overrun a little bit. I'm just going to assume that the DPS is getting pretty bad. And we'll see what happens. As you can see, not running Wrath as an aura is pretty much really nerfing my DPS. And this wand itself, not having any lightning damage. I pretty much have 10% physical as lightning. We'll take a look. 89 to 401. That's purely from the nodes and my ring. I do have lightning damage on my ring. It's very small, but it does scale with Wed. It does scale with arcing blows and wand elemental nodes and power charges because the damage. We'll take a look right here. Fusillade, wand elemental. All the crit nodes are obviously going to scale with elemental attack based nodes. Then we have one lightning right here, 10% one physical added as lightning, so it might as well be like added lightning damage. And arcing blows right here, scales elemental attack based lightning damage. Alright, so it looks like the trash in this wing is good. Another thing to note, and what makes this map so deadly, is the fact that you can't curse or dual curse the totems. That's one of the benefits to running in feeble, like to running dual totems or running with spellcasters that use totems, because they are not nerfed by mod or the map mod curses. At you know the other way around, it's harder to deal with them because you can't curse them. That means you don't get that extra DPS boost from crit weakness, and you don't get to nerf their DPS with like a dual curse, temp chains, and feeble. That's why this map can be quite deadly if you're not prepared. Mainly if you're not prepared or don't understand the mechanics, and that's what I'm trying to do with this video. Alright, we're almost done killing the trash. Don't worry, it'll speed up when I don't have to when I can just shotgun the bosses. This is just something I do because of the shield swap. You don't ever want to forget to equip your Sapphel's frame. Yeah, Brian, you're you're something else. Okay. And one more hallway, we'll be done. I'm gonna be okay with just starting out with no flash charges. My character is quite OP, and it is level 100. However, that being said, the mechanics are still the same, and you guys can still learn from this tutorial. Alright, I'm desyncing and frozen like crazy. Chilled ground is such a shitty inconvenience. It does seem like the Arctic Breath guys are quite common in this wing. I think this is the second time I fought them in this area. I guess it's designed that way that there's cold mobs and skellies that cast cold. Alright, so we're gonna do the first boss with Sapphel's frame, no power charges. I'll show you my defenses once again right before we get in, and you'll understand how powerful Sapphel's frame is when it comes to spell blocking. This hallway seems a bit longer than the others. Yeah, when I was doing this earlier, just to check it out, because I didn't know anything about it, I was just flying, like just one-shotting all these mobs with my mirrored wand. But can't really learn much when you can't see how, difficult and how hard the mobs hit. Alright, so we're gonna tackle the first boss, and it is the ice boss, I believe, this one in this wing. Alright, so turning off Tempest Shield, there's no point in running it. It's not going to improve my spell block. I'm going to put my cast on damage taken in. Immortal Call is not going to do anything on the Frost boss because it doesn't do anything physical. There will be mobs in there, but I'll take them out, use them as a battery. I'll take them out one by one. I'm not going to be so worried about DPSing the boss up front, but getting the ads, getting my power chargers, getting all that shit ready to go. Go ahead and crit weak the ads. You know, as long as you keep a momentum, you should be good. Okay, now I'm desyncing. What's really nice about this room is you can just run in circles and not have to worry about your ES will regen because the boss won't keep up. That's assuming you have a decent amount of movement speed. Alright, so we got a kind of shitty temp chains guy buffing up all these smaller ads. I will have to take some of these out. So I'm at 5 power charges. I'm at 6. 7. Now I'm going to start DPSing the boss. When my frenzy charge is about to fall, I'm going to pick off another ad. And I'm going to continue DPSing the boss. Notice bullying does work on the totem. So with really good DPS, you can just pin the guy against the wall. I lost my frenzy charges there, but it's okay. I would really like to pick off that rare, but I missed the shots. So you just pump deeps while you have the power charges. When you're about to run out, you just pick off another ad. And essentially they're your battery. So that was the first one. And that one is a little rough, but it's very doable, especially with the fact that you can just infinitely run around in circles and nullify that threat. Alright, now we're going to go do the next boss. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you my defenses. So this is important. I could have better lightning resist, but I'm not too worried about it. 80, 80. I could be 80 all with 75 spell block max. The only thing that would be able to increase something like that would be if I... Which way did I go down? Okay, sorry for that. If I used a anvil, then I would have I could have up to 78%, but that would greatly mess up my gear setup. Okay, so while you are able to see if there's trash in here. Oh, just a couple chests. While you are able to get more block at this gear level with this spec, it's not worth using the anvil for the extra 3. So we're gonna go up and go against the next boss. I believe this is the chaos one. Yeah, so this is the chaos boss. This one, that poison arrow will do damage and you cannot block that. So you will take the hits. The initial physical damage portion, you will be immune because you're CI with the chaos cloud. But everything else, you're good. So this one is the one fight where endurance charges are going to actually help you, because Ethereal Knives, although it's a spell, it does physical damage, but it goes against spell block. So while I'll be able to block 75% of the time against Ethereal Knives, the poison arrow is going to be different. Alright, so for this boss, I'm just going to take out the ads and face tank some of the boss. So you notice I take the poison arrow hits. I can evade it though, so Ethereal Knives, I won't take damage, or I'll block it more often than not. Okay, he got 2 lucky shots. But Ethereal Knives is physical damage, and it this is probably the easiest boss for the CI Batman Wanderer. This really doesn't pose any threat. Immortal Call will nullify EK's damage. You guys got to remember, it's a spell. It's a spell that does physical, uses spell block to combat its damage. However, Poison Arrow is an attack, and it will hit you because you have 0% attack block. All right, let's go do the next boss. It will be, I believe this side is the fire. This one also is very easy. He does Firestorm, and with 80% all res, with 75% spell block, This guy is pretty much a joke. I could just sit there and face tank him. Yeah, with good physical damage, keeping up with your Ghost Reaver and your Leech, this boss should be no problem. But let's just assume I had really bad deeps. Same concept still applies. Don't AoE this thing. Take your time, and these mobs are definitely, you're able to kite them. Get your power charges, keep those up, take your hits on the boss, and just, if your survivability isn't as good as mine, you know, you can just take your time avoiding those things. Roll your power charges, that's the most important thing. I got like 3 more on a battery. You don't want to be in melee range because of the Righteous Fire. Alright, I fucked up right there. I let my power charges fall. So I'm going to kill these 3. Max ranging him also, you know, for that Incinerate. Pretty easy boss for the Batman Wanderer with Sapphel's Frame, nonetheless. Let's go ahead and ID some of this. That's not too bad, actually. Alright, now we're going to head to the, what is it, the Frost. Did we already do the Frost? Okay, the Lightning one. Okay, so this one is the most difficult out of all the 3. It'd be less, much less of a problem if I was at 80%, but this one is kind of like a nightmare for CI because there's so many sparks going off in the room. You'd have to block in quite RNG succession that you would allow yourself to ES regen. So this is probably the one that you may need to have portals as an escape route. So you pretty much don't get a choice. You're on a clock. You need to move for Storm Call. I mean, granted, I have a shitload of spell block and good lightning resist, so these don't do that much damage to me. However, when you get shock stacks, that shit will add up and spike you. So I'm gonna take my hits out on this totem. Kind of same idea with the battery. I took all those storm calls and I blocked them all. However, I will show you what it looks like when I don't block all of them. Alright, so pretty much the boss is dead. Assuming that this fight, you know, goes on longer. You guys see how I just took that huge ass spike. Now I'm in like kind of like crisis mode because I can't regen my ES. So either I have to get lucky with blocks. Okay, so there you go. If you run far enough, and since I have bullying, he was on one side of the map, so he's not triggered. If you don't have bullying, he's going to be casting spark all the time. So you need to leave the room with portals or something. But this is by far the roughest for the Batman Wanderer. Let's go ahead and take some storm calls again. Spell block is doing wonders for me. I mean, alright, now I better kill it. So with bullying, it looks like I can use bullying as a tactic to keep him far away. Because if he's not in the center of the room, he should be pretty easy to reset. So I was doing this on my other Wanderer, on my Nemesis Wanderer that died, and this shit was rough as shit. I mean, I was able to kill it with the same tactics, only I didn't have bullying because I didn't have enough skill points. So what ended up happening was it took me fucking ages to kill it, but I did kill it. So it was doable. Bullying is, I just realized now, is a godsend for this particular fight. Just because it offsets him in the room and that you're able to progress and reset the fight. Okay, so now this is the last final fight. It's going to spawn a really big totem. It's going to do some Searing Bond action. It's going to spawn Skellies to try to like overwhelm me. It's going to start out slow, but my DPS is not going to be able to keep up and it can spiral out of control. The main thing is movement, because you're going to get that Frost Arctic Breath action. It's going to spread. You need to constantly be microing as best as you can. Again, I'm engaging. There's no point in using Tempest Shield. It's not going to provide any advantage other than maybe like shock stacking, getting lucky with a shock stack with like a crit. But overall, it's better just to have more mana to be able to curse and do whatever. Alright, so here he is. Here he spawns ads. Okay, I'm going to try to take him out, build up my charges. There's going to be some Storm Calling and Arctic Breath all the time. While I am very equipped to handle all these spells, you can get fucked if you stand in one place too long. Overwhelmed. So I'm just picking off the ads. I'm not too worried. So this boss will constantly spawn those Searing Bond totems for you to build up your power and frenzy charges. So you don't really have to worry so much about killing the ads and keeping them around for batteries. And they spawn these mini totems right here, which have less HP than the previous boss, but they're pretty easy to take out. They got they're kind of like mini me versions of them. They're not the full blown boss. So I took out the mini me's. They will respawn. Now I have DPS time on this totem, and he's going to lightning warp. He's going to drop more Searing Bonds, much like what Dominus does, only with fire. And then these guys are gonna respawn to help assist. The bandits, however, will no longer respawn on this fight. But you guys can see how, with good damage, leeching, this is very easy with Sapphire's Frame. This would look very different with a regular shield. I would get stunned quite a bit, and without the +5 max all resist, yeah, it would be very, very different. So if you don't have good enough DPS, this fight will be very pain in the ass, almost like 5 times as long, because just for the fact that you're trying to take out these other mini totems and you just can't keep up with it. That you just get overrun and you don't get any damage on the boss. So your damage needs to be good to be able to handle this. I do recommend that it's above average. Don't step into this map. I did this boss on my 84 Wander and it took a long time. And that was because I could barely keep up with the other totems, and most of the DPS that I was putting on the boss were actually LMP chain shots that I was taking out on the Searing Bond items. I never had problems with power charges, and I never had problems with frenzy charges because I was just always killing shit, just at a slower rate. That's going to conclude this video. Oh, it's also worth noting that the items that spawn off this last particular boss are eye level 80. So in a new league, this would be pretty sweet to get some good crafting bases. However, there is a lot of risk, and the reward I don't feel is great. I mean, it is a fun map. Most of it is just running around in circles, firing at the middle and making sure that you have the appropriate defenses to deal with this boss. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll probably do some more other informative videos on bosses or other kind of mechanics.